Ahoy, shipmates! See the old red jets just blasting past there. Red funnel just a second ago, going the other way to the Isle of Wight. It's a rather windy and blustery day here in the port of Southampton. I think, as you can see, it's evident from the trees in front of us blowing around. So let's go back and check the weather. Oh, I did look at it. So we have wind gusting at 29 knots. With a wind speed of 20 knots. So very windy day. It's been very windy yesterday. Caused all sorts of problems yesterday. Iona didn't depart until 1 o'clock in the morning. Iona normally departs at 6 in the evening. But she delayed her departure till much later in the day when the wind had passed. Just too windy in port. Let's go back. Let's have a quick look. We've got a Norwegian Prima. I thought we would see Queen Victoria first on the screen. But apparently not. Norwegian Prima left on the dot as well. Look at that. There she is. She'll be on screen shortly. In fact, let's have a quick look on Netlycam. Probably see her on Netlycam. There we go. See her on Netlycam. In case you're wondering why you're here. It is Ships TV. We have Queen Victoria departing at 4:30, but she went up to the upper swing ground and turned around a little bit late. And then Norwegian Prima is on the move. So let's go back to... nope, that's the wrong camera. That's itching camera. Let's look in the other way. Netlycam. There we go. We'll get there in the end, shipmates. Yes, very blustery day. As you can see, a tree here down at Netlycam wobbling around a lot in the wind. And the camera itself is quite wobbly as well. It's rather unfortunate. Netlycam is rather exposed. Even Itching Cam's wobbling quite a lot as well. Cruise Cam has the... Oh, let's go back to Cruise Cam. Let's get myself connected. Let's log into Cruise Cam so I can control that so we can see what we're looking at. Cruise Cam is the most stable of the cameras. Should give us the best view. And there we go. Right, yes, logged in to... Cruise Cam. Excellent. It's just the 2 cruise ships departing today, shipmates. I think there was a total of 8 cruise ships in this weekend. I was going to live stream on Friday for Queen Mary 2's departure, but the conditions were horrendous. Wet, windy, just miserable, so I didn't bother. We can see Norwegian Prima is on our screens. She is off on a 11-night one-way cruise to Reykjavik, Iceland, via Zeebrugge, Amsterdam, Bergen, Gallinge, Ålesund, Akureyri and Ísafjörður. So in fact, that's last weekend we had a cruise ship that was on a one-way to Iceland as well. I wonder where she's going after that. I wonder if she's repositioning somewhere else, I guess. I'm not entirely sure where she's going. And then Queen Victoria, she's off on a 7-night Norwegian field cruise, very similar to what Iona will be doing. Off via Haugesund, Skjolden, Olden and Bergen. For 7 nights. She'll be back next weekend. But very shortly we will have a Norwegian Prima on our screens on Cruise Cam any second now. I think that's just cut out. I've got a little button pad here which makes switching cameras easier, but it seems to be non-functioning. No, we've already done that. Go away. There we go. There we go. Right. That's Hythe, you can see there in the background. Hythe Marina. It's a lovely destination to go if you fancy a little afternoon out. Stroll around the arena, look at Southampton water. And you just see the shadow of Norwegian Prima on the bottom right-hand corner there. The water's getting darker, darker, darker. And there we go. There is the bow of Prima. Again, a part of very much a signature piece of the Norwegian Cruise Lines is this art that they have on their bows. Well, I say bow, but it's on the bow all the way down the side of the ship. I quite enjoy it. Some have better art than others. This one is quite interesting. I forget the name of the artist. I think it's the same artist that's been responsible for every ship. Can't see too many people up on deck, but I'd imagine conditions aren't very favourable for to be out on your balcony. This is we saw this the other week, and this is a slide which goes all the way down from the top deck all the way down the side of the ship. There you go. You can see there's a little transparent spot there, all the way down through one of the balconies. You can imagine people coming through your balcony to go, and there we go, pops out the bottom there. I think that's a dry slide, one of the shipmates was saying. There's a few people there. They're putting away these sun loungers. Can't say I'm surprised at that. But yes, I quite fancy a go on the dry slide. Can't see too many people out on deck at all. There is a little sun peeking through, but I think the weatherman... What did the weather say? I think our weather said it was... Weather said it was the chilly side, didn't it? Yes, 17 degrees, so not the best of weathers. We've had some really great weather lately, but... Just at the moment, look at that, we've only got like 4 people out on their balconies. It's very low balcony numbers. You can see that windsock down there, it's very erect. Indicating the strong breeze of somewhere in the region of 30 knots from the south-southwest. We'll be hitting that windsock straight on. I don't think we're going to get many waivers today, although when Iona departed the other evening at... quite late o'clock, we had quite a few waivers. We had a few waivers on board with their torches out. I was quite impressed. A few people out on their balconies. There you go, she's past the dock head. And heading down Southampton water. Off to Iceland. Like a very distinctive swept back bow. We don't have many ships with a bow like that. Most of them are swept, I'm not sure you'd say forwards. Yeah, swept forwards. And the occasional one is vertical, but I think this is the only ship I know of, a cruise ship, that we see in port, where they swept back bow. It's very different. Reminiscent somewhat of a German dreadnought, one would think. It's a little bit of sunlight in port, not a great deal. Enough to remind you of the wonderful port of Southampton. And hopefully distract you from a big fire that we've had in port recently. There was a scrap metal very close to where these ships were burnt, and there was a large fire there, I think 2 days ago. Caused all sorts of smoke across town. Environmental hazard. Fortunately, I don't think anyone was injured, so that was good. Right, I think we'll just cut away there. We'll go to Itchingham next. And I'm suspecting that Queen Victoria is hot on the heels of Norwegian Prima. I'll just move that across. I'll have a quick look at the map while you're watching Norwegian Prima depart. Yep, Queen Victoria is hot on the heels. I can see the tugs Fitz and Mercurius just coming in as well. We'll follow Norwegian Prima as she heads down Southampton water. And we'll cut back to Queen Victoria when she's on cruise cam. I may have a quick look in the chat, see what's going on in the chat. Oh, plenty of shipmates in the chat. Ahoy, shipmates. Let's have a quick look. Who have we got here? Let's have a look. We've got, I can see shipmate Steve M. Ahoy there, Steve M. Ahoy there, Jill. Ahoy there, Elizabeth G. And ahoy there, Tizzy C. Now you can see how windy it is. The camera's wobbling around. Wondering if I'm seeing the distinctive shadow on cruise cam of an impending Queen Victoria. I think I can. Just going to hold out for a second or two though. I think it's getting closer. It's like waiting for Christmas. It never quite arrives. And then been and gone in a flash. Ahoy there, Ella Burley. Ahoy there, Bean. And ahoy there, we've got a good selection of spanners in today. They'll be helping you with any questions you have in the chat that I may not see due to my A, ability not to be able to read the questions you put, or B, my just sheer incompetence that trying to look in the right place at the right time. Speaking of which, there is Queen Victoria. Rather a different looking ship to the Norwegian Prima. Much more the Cunard in the elegant set here with the very dark blue body of the ship with a lovely red line, plimsoll line at the bottom. Looks very elegant. Looks very windy. Look at those flags on top. Yeah, it's not a day to be out on deck, is it? Although you might be sheltered on the port side cabins. But I don't think we're going to see too many shipmates exploring the upper reaches of the ship, are we? In fact, let's have a little zoom in. I think we'll check on that. I'll just zoom across, and that gives you a quick idea of the difference in the scale of ships. Look how much smaller the Queen Victoria is compared to the Norwegian Prima that's just passed. Barely see Queen Victoria above the row-rows. Well, my mistake. There are a few brave shipmates out on deck, although, like I say, because they're on the leeward side here, on the port side, it could well be a little calmer. But there's certainly not that many, and the ones that we can see are wrapped up. Temperatures around the 16°C today. Feels like we've already arrived in autumn. It's been wet, windy, chilly. Not really what you want, is it, in this time of year? But that is a British summer. I do like the traditional red funnel of the Cunard ships. Or in keeping with traditional vessels, I feel. Not quite. Some of these modern ships have all these fancy funnels, but Cunard stick with more of the original colour and aesthetics. The stern of Queen Victoria is rather abrupt and vertical. She was a little more sloped with these more of the rakish look of the Queen Mary 2, but I can't remember when it was. It was some years back. She had had a refit, and they added a whole load more cabins onto the stern. That's why it just ended up being a bit blockier. Well, the water does look calm, even if it is windy. Although because it's coming from the southwest, it rather protects the water. Most of the land is just on the other side, so it's not. The wind doesn't get a chance to whip up Southampton water. Queen Victoria is off on the Northern Field cruise, pretty much following a very similar route to P&O's Iona. A lot of Norwegian, a lot of Fjordian cruises going on at the moment. Seems the de rigueur thing to do. Head on up to the fjords. The ships go right in land between all of the land masses and the fields and the mountains. Quite a stunning trip. I'd certainly recommend it. Went on Iona earlier in the year, and it was stunning scenery. Just a pity it was 1 degree with a wind chill of -7. Never mind. Can't blame the country for that, can you? That's one of the, looks like the blue or ocean cruise. They are little touristy boats that are either available for public hire or sometimes they're available for private hire as well. They do little cruises around the port, or you can see the cruises. And it looks like they're doing a cruise ship one today. I believe the party boat, as they're locally referred to, is based over in Shamrock Quay. And there we go. Here is the Queen Victoria from the side. Very elegant looking ship from the front. Not a completely different look to Norwegian Prima with a raked back bow. I'm just going to quickly cut across to Norwegian Prima on cruise cam. Give you some idea of scale. Look at that. That's if we get the red funnels coming by, it gives you an idea of scale. Some of the cruise ships aren't much bigger than the red funnel, but look at Norwegian Prima towering way above the red funnel. And you can see that slide going down the port side there, spiraling in and out of the balconies. I'm not sure what it'd be like if you had a cabin with a balcony with a slide going through it. Do you just sit there and laugh at people as they go whistling past, or hold up little messages, give them a score? 7 out of 10 for you. Not sure. I'd be intrigued to have a look. Maybe I'll try and book up one for next year. Still, I see plenty of shipmates in the chat. Sorry, I've been rather preoccupied, shipmates. Apologies. Oi there, Nicholas August. What's going on here? Does anyone have any questions? Ellie Merley says she's a very tidy looking ship. I presume you're talking about Queen Victoria. I agree, very tidy looking. Considering Queen Victoria is a little bit older than some of the other ships, it does actually have a rather spiffing paint job. Can't see any visible signs of rust. Looks very smart indeed. And so earlier on, just a couple of minutes ago, we saw the red funnel against Norwegian Prima, and here's a good example of a red funnel ferry against the Queen Victoria. And as you can see, Queen Victoria doesn't look anywhere near as big. The Norwegian Prima was easily twice as high as the red funnel. There we go. It's a much smaller cruise ship. Boy there, Chris Shipping says, windy on Town Quay. Victoria horns. Victoria's horns make her sound sick. Oh dear. Probably the wind blowing the sound around. Sometimes I put the microphone, this itching cam's got a microphone on it. It does pick up the ship horns. But on a day like today, if I just put it on, all you'd hear would be horrible wind noise. So I haven't bothered with that, shipmates. Hope you don't mind. Can't seem to coordinate the wind and the ship movements at the moment. Norwegian Prima just heading down our end of Southampton water. Queen Victoria just starting to head down Southampton water. Shipmate Fraudster Exposure says that Queen Victoria will be visiting Liverpool in August. She must be doing one of her round the UK jaunts. Southampton water doesn't look that choppy, considering the wind is still gusting at 28 knots. Yeah, it's pretty windy out there. Consistently, look, the wind speed at the moment, 25 knots. So plenty of wind speed. It just goes to show you it's coming from the right direction. It's not causing too much chop on the water. Shipmate Elizabeth Leaborn says she's just back from Dorset. The day was wild and windy. It didn't rain though. Well, that's good to hear. Yes, it's not been your typical July weekend. In fact, It's almost like the weather knows it's the school holidays coming up. When it's the school holidays, the English weather seems to get very wet and windy. All those children have an excuse not to go outside, and they can spend all their time indoors playing games or perhaps watching educational YouTube channels such as this one. There we go, that's Norwegian Prima. Hi there, shipmate Andy Cummins says, great views of the ships from your cameras. Well, thanks, shipmate. Glad you're enjoying it. Shipmate Terry Cummins says 8 weeks to go. 8 weeks to go until we're not entirely sure what Terry's up to. Let us know, Terry, shipmate Terry, where you're off to. I presume you might be on Queen Victoria, perhaps, I'm guessing. Or you may be on Norwegian Prima. Let us know where you're going, shipmate. Shipmate Ellie Murley says she'd rather be wet and windy than a heat wave, though. Well, that's true. Southern Europe, I think, is in quite a state. Oh, hi there, shipmates. Oh, sorry, I just missed your name there briefly. Shipmate Robin Dees1. Many thanks for subscribing, shipmate. Glad to have you on board. Just experiencing some difficulties. There we go. With the camera control there for some reason. Many thanks for subscribing. If you are enjoying this content on this channel, please do think about subscribing. It doesn't cost a penny. Hit that little button somewhere. And also hit the notification bell. And then, if we go live, you'll be notified. And welcome aboard, shipmate Ginny Bridou. Many thanks for subscribing. Yes, unfortunately, the wind does make the cameras somewhat wobble around. Oh, shipmate William asks, does anyone know why I only departed late last night? I believe it was due to the weather, shipmate. We were experiencing 40+ mile/hour winds in the port of Southampton yesterday. I think she arrived earlier than anticipated. Well, I think she arrived about the right time, but she certainly departed much later than normal so that she could avoid the winds. Being such a large cruise ship, I think trying to dock in close proximity to lots of hard concrete dock sides is probably not the best thing to do. So she left later to avoid such problems. I believe there were quite a few people waving their torches and things. I remember seeing at least one person anyway. Shipmate Cameron Cummins says he's actually on Virtuosa. First time on her. Oh, well, shipmate, I'm sure you'll have a great trip. Shipmate Vanessa Wells apologises for being late on deck. No problem, shipmate. Late off this time. Been painting the kitchen cupboards. Well, glad you've had a productive time. Certainly not a great deal point being outside in this weather. Have a quick look and I shall see what's coming up next weekend, shall we? So what have we got coming up for the week? We have Spirit Discovery later on. Silver Shadow be on the 20th, and then probably the one. Oh, hey there, shipmate Cliff Lawson, welcome aboard. What I think probably the one that everyone has been waiting for, not everyone obviously, but a lot of people have been waiting for, is Disney Dream. Next Saturday, not quite sure what time she's arriving, but she's departing next Saturday as well. We also have not Spirit Discovery, she arrives but departs on the next day. We also have Iona departing on that day, Sky Princess. So we have 3 ships departing, including Disney Dream. Let's hope it's not windy and we can have the microphone on and hopefully manage to potentially hear Disney Dream. all the Disney cruise ships play a little tune when they leave, and I think, if memory serves me correctly, they all play a different tune. I don't know what tune Disney Dream's going to play, so I shall have that as a surprise. So that's next Saturday, shipmates, so you better make sure you subscribe. And don't miss out. So hopefully the weather will be decent and I can live stream at the same time. Maybe get some droning in. I'll have a quick check of the weather. Weather for next Saturday. Oh no, they're forecasting rain. Blessed. Well, anyway, the first thing in the morning it's quite good. No rain first thing in the morning, so we'll have a go at that first thing in the morning with a drone. We will do the live stream, obviously, because the rain for the live stream doesn't really affect it too much. It just makes it means that people won't be out on deck, and I suspect there will be a lot of shipmates in Mayflower Park ready to watch the arrival and departure of Disney Dream. But instead of being in Mayflower Park, may I suggest you stay at home, grab yourself a toddy of rum, but if you're a child, then don't grab yourself a toddy of Ribena or something. Sit down in your beanbag and pop on the Solent Ships onto your YouTube, on your smart TV, and enjoy the coverage of the Disney Dream departure. Well, just a quick one this evening, shipmates. Just the two, and they've left. They've left like buses, haven't they? Nothing for hours, and 2 cruise ships at once. Well, I hope you've enjoyed that, shipmates. Many thanks to all my Patreons and PayPal donors and members of the channel. There's lots of content to come. And many thanks to all the subscribers. But of course, many thanks to the Blue Spanner crew, who not only in this chat for this broadcast, but also in the chat on all the live streaming cameras that are running all the time. Not sure if I'll get a broadcast in during the week, but definitely next Saturday for Disney Dream. Make sure you're subscribed, and I shall keep following the ships out. That's Norwegian Prima and the Queen Victoria. But if I don't see you before, I should definitely see you Saturday for the Disney Dream, Iona, and what's the other one? Sky Princess. There we go. That'll be next Saturday. Till next time, shipmates.